All right. Well, welcome to another QB Power Hour. Today, we're going to be talking about increasing share of customer with web centers. So let's go ahead and get started. Michelle, you want to introduce yourself now that you can?
Yes, now that I have internet again. So welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us. My name is Michelle Long, owner of Long for Success, a contract trainer for Intuit since about 2007. Author of several different books. Check them out on Amazon, and love to have you all join us in the Facebook group. You can see the link there. And that's enough about me. Dan, how about you?
Yeah, so owner of Danwith, co-host today, formerly of Intuit for about 18 years, technically edited QBO for Dummies, partner in schoolofbookkeeping.com. And we have a guest joining us today. His name is Jason Pelland. Jason, you want to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on today. I'm excited to meet all of you. Jason Pelland, Director of MA Web Centers from Epping, New Hampshire. Background in digital marketing, sales, marketing agency for, almost 2 decades now, and now run an incredible company providing digital marketing services to small to medium-sized businesses.
Fantastic. So a little bit about the QB Power Hour webinar series. We actually have some topics. This is a rarity, rare occurrence. We've actually scheduled out into June. If you go to qbpowerhour.com, you can see the upcoming topics. So this month we have, of course, this one today. In a couple weeks, we have how to send clients or how to get clients to send documents to you on a timely basis. That is one of the banes of bookkeeping's existence, getting your clients to respond on your time and not necessarily their time, so that you can continue to do your work for them. And then we'll continue our QBO Advanced feature deep dive. We'll be talking about the custom fields, which is a really usable or great function in QBO Advanced, and can allow you to tailor QuickBooks for your clients, and custom fields is a great way to do that. Of course, we have the PDF of the slides. I'll put in the chat the landing page for today, so you can get today's handouts. Of course, we have the YouTube channel and the podcast so that you can watch us or listen to us on your schedule. A couple of announcements. Of course, you can now text the QB Power Hour. We've set up a texting service. So you can do just send a text. It's QBPH to 833-395-QBPH. You can access prior recordings, see the upcoming schedule, and even suggest an upcoming topic for us. So our agenda today is we're talking about increasing share of customer with web centers or a web solution. And today is actually really personal to me. This webinar was an envision or born a couple years ago. I was first introduced to this company a couple years ago, June of 2018, and I said to myself, I was still working at Intuit at the time, and I was like, wow, this is great. If I just had more time to work on it, I could really make a go of something like this. And wouldn't you know, the next month, I was told, hey, your job's being eliminated. It's time to move on. And that was actually a blessing for me. So I'm like, oh, great. I can actually work with this company. However, over the past, 10 years prior to that, I had built, some relationships with people like Michelle and other people in the accounting community who still wanted me to stay in the accounting community. So as I was kind of branching out on my own and doing my own thing, it started to occur to me, is like, why can't we combine web centers or web solutions with accounting? They're both in the business to business space. They're both, consultative approaches to building a value, to your clients. I need to tell, the accounting community about this opportunity and this option. So I went to QB Connect, as any good accountant would, go to QB Connect and get connected. And, still kind of formulating the idea of this. And at that time, they had a mentoring session. You could sit down with someone for 30 minutes and kind of flush out some of your ideas. So I was like, yes, this is great, perfect. And I sit at the table, and the person on the other side was one of the Firm of the Future finalists. So I'm like, oh, this is a perfect marrying of these ideas. Someone who's forward thinking, someone who can see what the vision that I'm trying to kind of lay out of, transforming the accounting community by adding these kind of business to business services with the bookkeeping and accounting professionals. Told him about it, and he looked at me like I had two heads. So I'm not going to mention who it was. But my thought was, you're a firm of the future, and you don't see, his answer was, I don't see it. I don't. And then he started checking his watch, looking over my shoulder. And I'm like, okay, we're done here. All right. And then, as fate would have it, that day, that very same day, Michelle and I were in a breakout session that a guy had an epileptic seizure, and they canceled the session. And they canceled the session. We're just kind of milling about, and I bumped into Michelle, and she said, "Hey, I'm looking for a new partner for QB Power Hour." And then I was like, "Aha! The sky's parted. This is it. This is how I'm going to tell people about this." And I waited. I waited for my time, and the time is now. COVID has really put websites, Websolutions being an online presence with companies in the forefront. As we talked last year about how QBO Advanced is forcing your someday conversations, like I'll get online someday, or I'll do e-commerce someday. That has turned some days conversations into really yesterday. It should have happened yesterday, but it's really today's question. So that's a long answer to what we're going to cover today. But we'll talk about a little bit about the marketplace, why Web Centers is a cool company to work with. We'll look in the demo of the platform, and Jason's going to talk about the Pro Affiliate program. So with that, we're going to start our first poll of how often do you meet with your clients? How often do you have a consultative review with your clients? Do you do that monthly? Do you do that quarterly, annually, or maybe it's really not in the scope of your work? So, and as you guys are answering this question, it's just a little housekeeping. If you have specific questions about anything that happens to come up, go ahead and put that in the Q&A rather than the chat. The chat sometimes gets lost as it scrolls through. And since we're having all of these internet challenges today, please put your Q&A in the Q&A, and then we can either answer it live or answer it directly in the Q&A. So I'm going to go ahead and close the poll here. Coming up on a minute here. Looks like most folks have answered it, and I'll share the results. Looks like it's monthly. Michelle, do you kind of agree that's kind of the standard?
Yeah, definitely. At least monthly or quarterly. These people that say, that's not my scope of work, I think they run the risk of having their clients be former clients. If you're not talking and communicating with your clients on a regular basis, then they're not going to be loyal. And so I think in your engagements, you need to build in at least quarterly. Monthly would be better. And it doesn't have to be a long conversation. You can just chat with the client for 15, 20 minutes, to catch up, see how they're doing, what else, you might be able to help them with and things like that. But you don't want to be out of sight, out of mind. So I do think you need to keep in contact with your clients.
Yeah, that was a common reaction when I was working the phones on the account and care team at Intuit. Like if there was a challenge and it required them to reach out to their client, it was like I was asking them to give their firstborn up. Probably because they don't respond in a timely fashion, and we'll talk about that next time on the Power Hour, getting people to respond to those requests. But yeah, I didn't quite understand that mindset or that thought process about, I just want to do my work in the back end closet here, and then move on to the next client. And I just realized that the slide wasn't updated with the right poll question, but that's that's par for the course for today. All right, so I'll go ahead and turn it over to Jason to kind of talk about the Web Center program.
Yeah, again, thank you guys so much for inviting me on today. And I think there's a lot of similarities in our stories here. And the most important thing that I'm hearing already is that it's all about relationships. Right, we talk about digital marketing even, and still it comes down to that relationship with your clients, and we're no different. But to your point, Dan, the world has shifted. This paradigm has been shifting over the past couple decades into this online space. But last year really was a tipping point. It really was a tipping point where most businesses can't afford not to be online nowadays. Whether it's e-commerce or not, they need a way to get in front of the consumer, and the consumer last year has been stuck at home and only on their devices. So what better way to reach their end user than using technology? So it all starts with a website and then digital marketing services to drive traffic. But where do you as a professional fit in? Well, we offer this professional collaborative piece called our Web Center Pro program. And it's when we can really partner with industry professionals who have clients, because your specialty may not be in marketing. I expect that it's not. Right? You are accounting professionals, bookkeeping professionals, maybe even tax professionals. So you really focus on the income and expense side of most of your clients. However, what you'll see is the majority of the expenses really are coming through marketing, advertising, and operational costs. And those are some things that we can work together on. So when we look at the opportunity behind digital marketing, we look at how many small businesses are in the US, and look at this, right? 27 million and growing. Hopefully more and more will be growing over the next couple of years and can kind of get through where we're at. But how many have a website? A lot of people say, well, every business has a website already. Come on, Jason, it's 2021. Well, look at this. Nearly half have websites, not even half, which means that there's a lot of opportunity. And for those websites, how many of them are actually mobile friendly, right? Optimized so people can view it on a tablet or some type of a smartphone? Less than half, 44%. And I think you'll agree that more internet traffic comes from a mobile device than ever before. It's kind of like the second and third screen phenomenon. People are at home, watching maybe Netflix or YouTube or Hulu or something like that, and they still have their tablet or their phone and their computer on. So it's this multiple screen phenomenon, and that's another reason why it's important to be responsive. So Dan, you might take a look at what is the climate of the internet, and I would actually beg to say we need to do some research over the past couple months and see how much this has really changed. Right, last year was kind of an anomaly. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, every week when I get that report from my phone that says how much screen time I'm using, I just shudder to like, really, I'm using it that much. I'm wasting. Like people keep wanting me to go into this. What is that new thing now? It's not
Clubhouse.
Clubhouse. Yeah, I'm like, I can't afford. I don't have any more time to waste in something else like that. And I'm sure it's great, but I cannot be diverted any more than I already am. I have ADD to begin with. I can't be that way.
All right.
Well, one thing I would add in here too, something that I'm guilty of is, I realize the importance of a website and everything, but people like me need to realize you need to be updating that thing on a regular basis. Because if you just put it out there and you leave it out there, quickly it's out of date. And so I think that's important, just as important to being online. You have to keep it updated. And I know I've not done a great job of that myself. So
I saw a Facebook ad the other day, and it was all about SEO, search engine optimization. And, of course, the takeaway was, a checklist. And it said, 102-point checklist for SEO, to optimize your website. I'm like, 102? I'm like, talk about not being simple. Of course, that was their play, right? It's like, there's so many things to think about with SEO and updating your website and keeping it relevant and prevalent on search results, that of course you could hire this company to be able to do that. But I mean, there literally was 102 things to think about just keeping your website updated.
Yeah, it's a full-time job. You'd think of it this way, right? And you said it, Michelle, it's all about relevance, right? It can't just be this brochure site anymore. It's got to be fresh, relevant content for so many reasons, mostly because the end user wants to see current relevant information. So as a small business owner, you think back a couple decades and how did you own a business and run a business? Well, you certainly focused on operating that business, right? Driving sales and revenue. And for advertising, you simply maybe took out a yellow page ad, maybe you had a local newspaper ad, and then you relied on word of mouth. And that was it. You could go on and build your business, scale your business, and worry about customer management and revenue. But look at what we have to worry about today as a small business owner, right? Now you've got to worry about your website. Like Michelle, you just pointed out, is it fresh? Is it updated? Oh, and is it friendly on a mobile device? Well, Dan, to your point, can I be found on search engines, right? Someone searches on Google, can I be found? And then of course, you also mentioned Clubhouse, right? Social media. The world is so fragmented today. So how do you keep up with it all as a business owner? You got to wear all the hats. And are you doing Google advertising? And do you have a blog? And are you on the review sites? And are you still doing traditional advertising as well as running your business? The fact is that your clients, that small to medium-sized business owner, it wears too many hats, and they did not go into business to worry about marketing and advertising their business. They went in to operate their business and to drive sales, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, and within the last year, COVID has impacted a lot of those businesses to actually have eliminated some of the people who used to fill those operational gaps. Of, maybe I had a 20-something in my office that would post on social media. Oh, now I got to do it myself. Uh-oh.
Yeah, so it's been a lot of pressure and more responsibility on an already strained business owner. So, they need simplicity, they need synergy, they need accessibility across all of the digital marketing platforms, whether it's their website, maintenance to the website, social media, digital marketing, and really they need some options without having to worry about managing multiple vendors that do all of these things individually. And guess what? You as a professional, an industry professional, need that too. You need to stay relevant and really identify ways that you're to help your clients. Michelle, to your point, you're building relationships with your clients. And if you're doing these reviews and you're having conversations, you know what their expenses are. And if you can find a way to help them save time or money or streamline their business practices, this could be a way to collaborate together without you having to take on something in addition to. Michelle, you probably are not interested in being a web designer, are you?
Nope.
Dan, you don't want to be managing social media channels for clients, right?
No, not at all.
So this is a partnership, right? And ways that businesses like ours can work together. So what is it that we offer with Websolutions? It's really a proven duplicatable system that allows businesses to increase revenue and decrease expenses. And my favorite is streamlining business practices. There's so many things that can be done through technology today that can save time. And everyone knows that time is money. And for that business owner, it's probably the most valuable asset is their time and their health. So if we can reduce that burden, some of that stress, it will allow them to operate their business and hopefully grow that business and scale it to a position where they can be more profitable, right? So, what kinds of digital marketing products and services do we offer? Well, online solutions, like we talk about websites and e-commerce and Google advertising and SEO and social media and even content marketing, but also merchant services, right? We can provide merchant services to help maybe cut down on credit card transaction fees. But we also have some ways to drive traffic through some different loyalty programs as well to help them attain new customers online. And I think you'll agree that there are so many different providers out there, right? Dan, you can probably think of probably at least a dozen or two, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Michelle, you probably have some, some big advertisements that are going out on, maybe NASCAR or on TV commercials, or every time you go to YouTube, there's probably a lot of different website providers, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we know it's a very competitive space, but what makes us different is what we provide alongside just a website, right? We give business owners the tools and features they need to scale their business without scaling their expenses as well, right? All too often a business is growing, and as they grow, their expenses grow as well, which the end result is that the profitability isn't really impacted, right? We allow them to maintain a low affordable cost on their marketing expenses so they can scale their business to whatever level they'd like and makes them more profitable. One of the ways we do that is we have the power of unlimited, right? The ability to have unlimited pages. We're not going to nickel and dime them for maybe 5-page website. Oh, now you're going to add another 2 pages. It's going to cost you an extra, couple $100, or, unlimited changes. Give them control of their website. Michelle, to your point, how do I even maintain my website? Maybe it's too difficult. Well, the tools are very easy, where you can make the changes, or we can make the changes for the client. And what it means is that you're not getting charged an additional hourly rate to make those changes. And then what about traffic, right? Well, what if we send too much traffic, right, to my website? Am I then penalized? And do I have to increase the cost there for maybe web storage? No, right? We help businesses keep those costs down. And even something as simple as email addresses. Dan, what's more professional? Dan at gmail.com or Dan at dandelong.com?
Oh, number 2, Alex.
Right. So one of the first things a business should be doing is branding themselves. And a lot of that is just having their own domain-based email, something as simple as that. But there's other email providers out there that you might get a domain name and then you buy one email address, but then you have a staff, you've got 5 email addresses. So now you've got to buy a package of 5 email addresses. Oh, and then you hired 2 more people and now you've got to upgrade to 10 email addresses. Well, that's ridiculous. We're going to keep it so that you have as many email addresses at your domain name as you'd like, unlimited storage in the online file cabinet. And the most important thing we offer is support, right? Michelle, to your point, a lot of people are not maybe tech savvy or interested in web design, but then there's no support, right? You go on, you got to do this online chat form. Well, we've got live professionals, 24/7 access to actually work with business owners to maintain and manage their website or ask any digital marketing questions that they may have.
And they're based in the US.
US based.
And that's huge.
It is. So 24/7, we do have sites worldwide, but we are located right in Las Vegas, Nevada. We do support, 4 different languages, but we are a US based company. And that really is the powerful thing, Dan, right? The support.
Yeah, and Rick Jessup, I knew he was going to ask this question. Are you in Canada?
Yes, so we actually offer services to clients throughout the United States, Canada, with the exception of Quebec, unfortunately. We've got some restrictions in language there. Mexico, Latin American countries, as well as overseas, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Singapore, Australia, United Kingdom. So we are a worldwide operation. We actually service over 26 countries right now in English, Spanish, Mandarin Chinese, and Cantonese Chinese, and growing beyond that as well.
And it's not like a language buffer between. They're actually natively speaking those languages. So it's you just ask, for Spanish or for Chinese, you just press a button when you call in.
Yeah, and not even just simple like Google Translate tools, right? We actually have people in that native locale for sure. So we have those product specialists. Go ahead, Michelle.
Well, I'm sorry. I just was going to ask because Don also had a question on here that he says he's planning on having his site redone. What kind of things do I need to have on there now? What about plugins for client payments and file sharing? Because that's really important for us, is for our clients to be able to pay us online and stuff. And I know through QuickBooks payments we can. What about through the website?
Yeah, absolutely. Very easy to drag and drop some widgets. In fact, we're going to do a demo, and I'll demo a site and how easy the software is to use and show you some of those plugins that are available.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah. And the idea is any questions like that, we've got product specialists that are available, again, 24/7. We have web designers and digital teams support the client. So you don't have to be the web designer, right? You can stay in your lane as the professional you are, building that relationship and kind of offload that to our teams to work on your behalf, including customer care. They've got questions about their account. We'll take care of them as if they are, you and I are collaborating partners, right? A co-branded solution here.
Awesome. All right, so let's see what you're talking about here. So you should be able to share. So I'm just going to stop sharing.
All right, let me get up here. And the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to go to let's make sure I've got the right browser here.
Right. This is always an awkward moment when we're
right when the screen share is about to go live. All right, so I've actually walked into our accountant website builder template, right? And the idea is that we have hundreds of pre-designed templates based around certain industries. So that's an easy way to get your clients on board. We realize that they might want some customization. We realize they might want their own look and feel, their own colors, their own fonts, their own logos. They can easily manage that themselves, or we have design teams and design packages so they can start from scratch and we can build that website to their liking, 5-page, 10-page, 20-page, whatever widgets and gadgets they need, we will do that for them. So those do come in some of our packages. But when we look at this basic site here, I'll even just go into a preview view of this. You will see that this is a very relevant or current type of website. Now, one of the most important things is the header image, the navigation, the logo, and of course, contact us. And the beautiful thing about that is if this were on a mobile device, that contact us could be a click to call button, meaning that you're on your phone, you click the button and the phone rings, right? So the website is going to respond to whatever device the user is on. So as we scroll through this, the industry templates that we've got are already preloaded, Michelle, with some of those important features, like you said, right? So we've got a call out here for services. The homepage wants to talk a little bit about what? Tax returns, auditing, accounting, consulting, and these all link over to a separate page that's already been built. I know there are a lot of website builders out there where they have this really fancy looking homepage, and then you go to click on the other services page and they leave you with an empty shell. You're like, okay, great. Now I need images. Now I need content. Now I need to add the widgets, right? We've actually built out all of this template right now, has a homepage, an about page, services, and then pages for each of these: taxes, audit, accounting, consulting, a blog, contact. And of course, if you're not using those features, you just turn them off. It's a little click of a button that just off, hide in the navigation, or you can just rename it to something else that you might provide, right? So very seamless to operate your own website. Okay, so of course, maybe you don't focus on real estate, and maybe you focus more on your freelance business owners. That's fine. So you can update this content. And someone says, well, Jason, I don't want to just put text where there's text and change an image. That's fine. It's 100% customizable, right? You can move things wherever you want. So you've got a lot of freedom here to manage your own website. And you'll see as we come down here, it might pull you to some blog articles. Maybe you've got some clients, put their logos here. You can do that. Want more information? They click Let's Talk, and it's going to go to a feedback form. So let's take a look at that. We go to Let's Talk. It brings us right to the Contact Us page. And of course, right here, this is not your information, but you would update your own information. And of course, what I love about this platform is that if you update the phone number here, it's going to update your phone number everywhere. So you don't have to go across the whole website and then change multiple times the same information. You can actually make it so that when you update the email address or your Facebook page, it's streamlined across all the different pages. But this, Michelle, is kind of to your point, a feedback form, name, email address, phone number, what am I interested in, what type of services, so it helps with that lead generation. But in this form, we can also add a place for someone to upload a file. Here, send me a file that I'm looking for. Right, so we can do that as well with an online file cabinet that will store that information for you. But also, when we go back to our editor, you'll see that I can manage all of my different pages here. There's a little button here, just shows me the pages. But then this little widgets feature, and I'm not going to get too high tech on everyone, but I'm just going to show you some of the capabilities. So popular widgets might be, maybe you want to add a new place of text. Or maybe you've got a physical location and you want to add a map. You can literally just drag that map down here. And let's say we want to put it here. And now you'd simply update your address, right? And it's going to pull it from a service called Mapbox, and it's going to put a map of your location right on your website. As simple as that. So now you too can be a web designer. Michelle, you could do it. Right?
She's like, yeah, I could. Like,
So you can customize your own contact forms. You could add different buttons that you want. Makes it very easy to drag and drop. Maybe you want to add a frequently asked questions. You guys ever get frequently asked questions, Dan?
A few times, yes.
Yeah. So you could load in your own little accordion frequently asked questions. You type in the question, you type in the answer, and it seamlessly puts it together on your website for you. You can add in other things, like we said, a click to call. And here it is, Michelle, maybe a PayPal button. If you want someone to pay you for their services via PayPal, you can do that. We've got an online scheduling tool through a third party that you could actually load that onto your site. If you wanted someone to schedule an appointment with you online, you can make your availability online. Maybe you want to populate maybe a Google Calendar, or there might be some third parties that you might be using for payment services, maybe even through QuickBooks, where you would actually just use this little HTML code, and you would be able to drop that piece of code, drag it right onto your page here. And then you would take from your QuickBooks program, it might have a little snippet of code, and you literally just paste it here, update it, and whatever service, third-party service you're using is automatically going to be fed onto your website.
Yeah, and just a quick call out. At 10:31, John let me know that the link that we had for today's handouts was not accurate. It was pulling up some handouts from before. I went into the back end of the website while you were talking, because QB Power Hour is built on this platform. Updated it. It's republished, and it's live while you were talking. So real easy to make those changes.
Yeah, minute by minute.
I'll tell you, especially compared to just even a year ago or 2 years ago. I mean, it is so much easier now than it used to be. And it's so much more affordable. I remember several years ago when people would have to spend $3,000 to $5,000 to get a website, and, this is just amazing how much more affordable and how easy it is to use compared to in the past. So I think it's great.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, we realized that to your point earlier, a website needs to be dynamic, right? Not only relevant, but it has to be engaging to the user. And we know right now we're in, what is it? It's tax season, right? It's tax season. And you could even personalize your site through the personalization tools and say, great, on January 1st until April, we're going to have a special pop-up to remind people to gather all their financial data. Right, so you can set up these little rules so that when you've got time, because right now maybe you don't, and it's March. Okay, well, maybe in a slower period of time, you can go in and set some of these campaigns up where you can promote different things that that will be coming up. Maybe that quarterly deadlines are coming up and it's time to do that. Or maybe you want to schedule that monthly review or quarterly review. You can do a call out so that when someone logs onto your website the first time, it pops up and says, schedule your consultation now. right? So you can make this very engaging, very interactive. We do also have our own e-commerce catalog here. So if you wanted to provide consulting services and charge right here on your website, you could do that as well. So we can certainly take anyone through a demonstration. If you're interested in these services, we'll have our product specialists go through a personalized approach for you, for maybe your business or any of your clients, and really tailor it to what your needs may be. But the idea is that it really can be customized for any type of business. And for the solopreneur, that self-employed massage therapist, all the way to, the 300-person law firm. Right, we handle clients of every size.
Yeah. So we're going to launch into the second poll and maybe address a couple questions that came up. But this is, who created your website? I did it myself, a web developer, or what website? Maybe I'm maybe I'm just doing everything through social media or my ProAdvisor listing or things like that, and never really entertained the idea of having a web presence. And this is, something that, you had mentioned earlier, Jason, and the web presence and the website builder is just one of the solutions that you guys offer in your. I always thought of it, and as I learned about it and learned more about it, I always looked at it like a buffet. Like when you go out to eat, sometimes you'll just order off the menu, like, oh, I want this appetizer and I want this. This main course, and I want this dessert, or you go to a restaurant that's a buffet of like, oh, I could have egg rolls and steak if I want.
Yeah, the idea is that we have an all-inclusive solution, but the end user, the client, gets to pick and choose what they need and fill in the gaps. Absolutely.
And Jason, Mary wants to know about the security for the website, or they want to know if you'd still need a third-party provider like SiteLock.
So everything has an SSL, a security login. So everything is protected. There's a security certificate. Our servers, we've got our own legacy software, which isn't what I just showcased. And that is on our own proprietary server. But we also use Amazon Web Services, which is kind of like the gold standard in website hosting right now for our clients.
Okay. And earlier, Jason, you mentioned something about like a file or something where you could store documents and things. Is that a secure client portal, or what's the level of security on that? And kind of how does that work?
Yeah, so that just lives on our servers, which are secure and protected, but it isn't a secure login for the client, so to speak. It's just a file transfer for you. So you might want to use another third party that is a little bit more protected when passing sensitive client data.
Yeah. And we'll actually talk about that next time when Lisio comes on, and they'll talk about their security option, or changing the client portal. So to that effect, you could just put the HTML widget that Lisio offers and put it right on your website using this HTML portal that you have right there, that you just demonstrated there for us. And one of the things that I see being asked is, Weebly, Wix, the site builders that are out there. How would you say this would compare in that space?
Yeah, I recently had some clients come to me and they were trying to redesign their site, and they were using some of these other services. I know Squarespace, Weebly, GoDaddy, Wix. There's so many out there. So we realize it's a competitive market, and a lot of people are using WordPress. But the idea is the suite of services around it. It's really about those widgets. It's really about the added development. We've got, in fact, we've already launched 3 new widgets in the past week. Dan, I haven't even let you know that yet, but we got 3 new widgets that have already been developed. So we're always integrating more. And the idea is identifying third-party partners that do what they do best and find ways that we can kind of bring them in-house with us. But what sets us apart really more than anything is our support, right? It's one thing to have a website builder, But if you're having a hard time managing it, do you really want to scroll through volumes of, chat forums to try and find your answer? You try and call an 800 number and then you're, waiting on hold, or you don't have that level of support. So the human piece, that one-to-one relationship, is key as well. But the idea is also, once you have a website, it goes beyond that. How are you going to drive traffic to it? So that's, we rounded it out with all the other services: text message marketing, email marketing tools. We also offer Google advertising and search engine optimization and social media, and how to all pull it all together. And
a lot of those things are already included in the buffet, right? Just like a buffet, it's already there. You don't have to go back for seconds or more egg rolls, but you have that opportunity or that option to do so. So let's talk about this Web Center Pro program, and that's really what I envisioned for the accounting bookkeeping industry. For you to come on and talk about this, because if COVID has taught us anything, it's the ability to adapt on a moment's notice. Is just setting yourself up for, when things happen, that it's not a happening or a burden, right? Because COVID for me personally has been a blessing. Not that I want to continue to keep going with the way things are. I mean, I can't wait to visit with Michelle and hug her for once. Zoom fatigue is a real thing. Want to get out of that. But the fact that I had this buffet options available allowed me to pivot really quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. It comes down to diversifying your income, diversifying your portfolio and your services without taking on the extra work, right? How can you offer more services, without, like, a lot of people have been pivoting, and they've pivoted into a new industry where now there's a learning curve and there's time and stress beyond that. This is really just a partnership. So, while we're just talking about your website, yeah, that's great. But really, today's talk is really about how to leverage our teams for your benefit in terms of how you can help your clients. So we have a Web Center Pro program, which is for industry professionals. And typically we work with a lot of graphic designers, web developers, maybe sales and marketing firms, SEO or social media agencies. But the fact of the matter is that you are industry professionals because you are sitting with that client that is managing their books, and you're looking at ways to help them cut costs, maybe save costs, how to grow revenue. And if you can help a client increase their revenue and decrease their expenses, you're a hero, right? And that really will tie into building a strong, long-lasting relationship. And certainly if you're a client of ours, someone says, well, who did your website? Then it just strengthens that conversation because you have firsthand experience. But the idea is, as a Web Center Pro, you have the ability to offer the full line of products that we support and that we provide. You just simply make the connection. You have an extension of your business with our teams of professionals. So it's almost like a staff of marketing professionals that are working on your behalf. It's like a new arm of your company. Co-branded administration and invoicing. So you don't have to use this as a straight referral where you're losing that potential business, right? There's profit involved for you maintaining the relationship. You do get a front-end customizable website yourself, should you want to use it for this marketing side of the business. We offer VIP support for our professionals and ongoing professional education that can not only help your clients' business, but can help you and your business in terms of how to scale it online. The team does incredible work. I think you've seen some of the templates. We'll make sure that you get a link. If you just go to mawebcenters.com, there's a link there for web design, and you can see all of the templates, hundreds of templates and some of our samples, but you can see beautiful responsive designs. We don't specialize in any one industry. Our designers can really, build a site that suits anyone's needs. Like I said, maybe a single massage therapist all the way to maybe an advertising firm. Right? It doesn't matter. We can handle it all. So we give all the tools, Dan, like you said, that buffet, to you to offer to your clients. But Michelle, you don't have to be the one managing someone else's social media posts. Is that okay with you?
Yes, that's perfect.
Perfect, she says. Right. So you now have the ability to expand your offering to, all of these. So maybe you have a client that already has a website and it's been redesigned and it's great, but maybe they need more traffic to that site. Maybe they need to do a Google advertising campaign, or maybe they want to tap in to the email marketing or text message marketing, like you've done with QuickBooks Power Hour, right? QB Power Hour.
Yeah, and this slide here is really what kind of speaks to me and this community, is that you'll be able to know where they spend that dollar by doing these monthly reviews, as most of you will do. The month-end bookkeeping review in QuickBooks Online, will give you insight into where that client or where that business is actually spending money, and maybe there's an option for them to get something back for something that they're already spending.
Yeah, the interesting thing is that our company is actually, a parent company of ours is a product brokerage company. We offer many products and services, but we also are affiliated with some major brands. So we have a partnership, and we actually own a company called Shop.com. And Michelle, what do you think you do on Shop.com?
Geez, my favorite pastime.
Right? And a lot of people are shopping online, right? More so than ever before. And I think that's another major pivot. Some people that were stalling on that, Dan, over the past year, they were forced into it, right? They were forced into shopping online. But the value here is that we have, the largest affiliate marketing site in the world today. And that means that we've got well over 3,000 name brand stores that your clients are already shopping at. And the beautiful thing about this relationship is, because we're driving traffic to these sites, they are then returning that favor by paying our customers cashback incentives. So by going direct to that store, you're not getting anything for that loyalty. But when you come through us and you go through your own shopping portal, we can track that and your customer gets cash back. Now, there's lots of cashback sites out there, right? There's a couple major ones that are now doing a lot of advertisements. But the beautiful thing about our program is not only will the customer get cash back, you as a professional can get incentivized and earn a commission on that spending as well, just based on the advertising dollars from the major name brands, right? They're looking for traffic. They're looking to compete against some of the bigger companies out there on the web today. So we've got a partnership. In fact, we've got a little survey called our business spending assessment. And well, you wouldn't even have to do the business spending assessment, Dan, right? You don't need to go through the little checklist, because what? You have access to it already.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you can run a expenses by vendor summary report, which, put in the date range of whatever it is, and you have, as long as you've done your due diligence of putting payees to every transaction, which we've talked about how to do that in other power hours, you can just see it right there and run it for, a month, a year, or whatever inside of their books. And during that, monthly consultation, this can be part of that. Like, hey, you're spending X amount of dollars at Office Max or Staples or whatever, whatever it is for office supplies. You can do the exact same thing, but get a little cash back for that. You had a great story about a construction company, right?
Yeah, so I got one of my clients is a self-employed mason. He lays every stone and every brick by hand. It's just him. So he leaves the job site and he goes to Home Depot, picks up supplies for a project, drives back over to the project, lays the stone. And in some cases, he says, Jason, I need to actually go to the store to pick up the materials because I need to pick the best stone that I can. I said, that's fine. You can still shop through this site while you're at the store. And then instead of checking out at the register, you check out on the app. And then you literally go to the online checkout and say, I've already picked up my order. Here it is. They can verify it and out you go. Now, why would he do that? Everyone says, well, that seems like an added step, Jason. Well, yeah, but at the time it was 2% cash back. So in a course of a year, he ran his numbers. He spent over $100,000 in supplies at that one store. We're not talking about office supplies. We're not talking about signs. We're not talking about any other expenditure other than supplies and materials to do projects, which he was already paid for by his clients. But that was an extra $2,000, an extra $2,000 a year from that one expense. So
Amazing.
a lot of people say, well, 2% doesn't sound like a lot. Well, when you look at the amount of money you're spending in, expenditures there, you look at that expense summary report, even, most.
Did we lose?
I was going to say he froze for me. Is he
Okay.
froze for you, Dan?
Yeah, I didn't know if it was me or him.
There
Jason,
he's
you
My
back?
back?
Yeah.
back.
Okay.
You're on a roll too.
Yeah, the fact of the matter is 2 to 10% doesn't sound like a lot, but when you look at your total expenses, it can add up to a lot at the end of the year.
Absolutely. So let's throw the last poll question up here, and then maybe we can address some more questions.
So while you're doing that poll, I'll ask Jason a question. Andrea wanted to know, she was asking, you showed the widget where you could put your map, your address on the map, and you could put that on your website and stuff. But what if you're a home-based business and you don't want to share your home address? And I had suggested, well, you could use a mailing address, or you could put just the city or the state, or just don't put an address at all. But she says that she was informed that Google Analytics would not work properly without an exact address.
So there's something interesting happening with Google, and everything Google is doing right now is to provide local search results, meaning that they know where your computer is logged in or where your phone is searching from, or if you type in a certain geography, Google knows exactly what results to provide to you. And in fact, one of the most powerful ways to assist in your search rankings on Google is to have a Google My Business page. Now, we do have services that we can help set that up, but most businesses can do that anyways. You just go on to Google My Business and you can set up your listing, and you do need a physical address for that. However, there is a checkbox whether or not you want users to be able to see that address, and that is important. But again, it ultimately comes down to Google wanting to showcase local results. So to your point, Michelle, I would at the very least on your website side of things, have the services that you offer. Maybe the major metro area, maybe some cities and towns in your local area. So at least that content is on your website. But if you're playing with Google and you're playing nice with Google and you're on the Google My Business page, you do need to have a physical address. And I run into that a lot because there's a lot more home-based businesses nowadays than ever before.
Yeah, it's one of the 102 things to do with search engine optimization, I think.
You got it.
So sharing the results here, looks like, yes, 93% of those that responded do look for ways to recommend and lower expenses with their clients. So this is a great value add of something that they're already doing.
And Dan, something unique that I didn't share on that slide is that we also have some exclusive coupon codes. So we've got a little tool where you can go onto a website, even search on Google, and it will let you know what coupon codes are available and where the best price is, so that maybe there's a different vendor that has the same product at a better price.
Yeah,
right?
It's awesome.
So,
I mean, I've been in this for 3 or 4 years, so I've learned so much each day about it. So we're clearly not going to get everything in our hour here, but let's come in for a landing here and talk about some of the earnings potential that you have by partnering with you.
Absolutely. So we'd appreciate your referrals. We'd appreciate doing business with you, but we really want you to earn income as well. So we have a couple different ways that we can provide income. The first is in a cash retail profit scenario, meaning that any of our products or services that are sold to your client, there is a retail profit. And that can range depending on the services that they need. But on our websites alone, depending on the scope of work and the package that the client really needs, you're looking at generating an extra $100 to $3,000 from a one website sale. And that's an initial, commissionable value. You get paid 2 weeks right into your bank account after that client closes. We also do offer payment options, so payment processing over the course of 4 months at 0%, so we can help them finance that should they wish. But we also track everything in terms of just gross sales volume. And the more business you do with Websolutions, we're tallying up the gross sales volume in a point system. And the more points that you accumulate will actually pay you additional commissions on that gross sales volume over time. So we want you to have longevity with us. And every time your client is purchasing a monthly recurring product, like website hosting or maybe Google advertising, you're generating a little bit of this cash retail profit on a monthly basis, but you're also creating these points, kind of like rewards points or loyalty points. And when you hit certain thresholds of the points, we're going to pay you an additional commission above and beyond just for being raving fans of Websolutions, right? So whether it's digital marketing,
don't get that with
websites,
GoDaddy, and you don't get that with Weebly, right?
you certainly don't. And that's another big differentiator, Dan.
Yeah.
So we'll just run through a quick conservative outline of a typical customer. Customer needs a new website. They design a website, and then they need a little bit of traffic. They need some assistance. So they buy a website. They buy a search engine optimization package. They buy a Google advertising package. They do a Facebook advertising package. And in total, that initial package is going to be a great starter site for your client. That client's going to get great online presence. They get some social media presence, search presence, and they're going to be able to see a return on that investment. Now, just for that one package, you, the professional, have earned an additional $1,075 in this example, with a recurring $49 per month. Each and every month, you'll get an additional almost $50 a month just for them being our client. We are managing the client. We're supporting the client. We're doing the customer support for the client. We're doing the billing. You're just recouping the benefits there. And on the side of that, we have this volume, the BV point value for each of these things. And you'll see initially 364 points based on our margins, and then 89 BV points per month for that one client example coming in each and every month. Now, I'll give you a quick example of what that means. When you have around 2,400 points, you earn an additional $300. So it's a little bit more than 10%. Let's just call it 12.5% on the $1 commission value there for gross sales volume. Okay. So maybe a client starts with a website. Maybe they start with the digital marketing because they already have a website, or they do both. The idea is that, just like we're talking about today, we're building share of customer and adding more value, more services to an existing client because they're happy raving fans.
And you don't have to start with one. You can start with one and go into the other, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So as a professional, you get a whole suite of services, access to unlimited customers. You get the credit card processing on our end, so we'll handle that. So you don't have to worry about the transaction fees on that. You get a co-branded storefront. You get, the biggest thing is the teams of professionals. You also get an email marketing system built into it. We've got ongoing training for professionals. And again, that support in multiple languages has been key to our success.
Right.
So to get started as a pro, you can certainly get more information at webcenter-pro.com. Our initial pro subscription kit is going to be around $239 to $439, depending on the level of relationship that you'd like to participate with us. You get your Pro Web Center, which is kind of like your digital marketing dashboard that gives you access to our product specialists. You can set appointments that way. You get access to that shop.com website so you can help your clients save money and earn some cash back. You get online reporting services. Everything is transparent, so you get to see everything on the back end. You also, interestingly enough, we've got a great relationship with Zoom, so you get a enterprise level Zoom subscription at a discounted rate. I think right now it's like $12.95 per month.
Yeah.
Typically would be hundreds of dollars.
That is huge. I mean, just for us and Michelle, she was spending thousands of dollars with a GoToMeeting for a year. And when I was telling her, I was like, hey, I think we could do this with Zoom for pennies on that dollar. And she was like,
Thank
yeah.
you, Dan. Yes,
Absolutely.
that was awesome.
Michelle's smiling there. Yeah, so it's all about, giving you, the professional, access to tools that can help you save money and earn money as well. Right.
All right. So last final poll question. I know we're coming up on the end of the hour. Just what's your interest in this program in Web Centers? Maybe you just want to send referrals. Maybe you've got some website clients or some digital marketing clients, or just need a little bit more information, or hey, this looks great. I want to be an affiliate, or it's just not just not my bag right now. But Jason, thank you.
Yes, we appreciate you being here today. I think Dan froze for a second there. But yeah, the nice thing about this is, so many of us as accountants and bookkeepers and stuff, it's like you said, it's a way to have an additional revenue stream without significant amounts of time on our part, because you all do the support and things like that. But it helps us to further help our clients who need a lot of help with this, especially as you mentioned earlier, because of COVID, so many small businesses have pivoted. Let's say you had a fitness instructor, and they used to do private lessons and things. Well, now they're doing one-on-one Zoom private lessons. So now having the ability to put that e-commerce into your shopping cart, simple and easy and things like that, it helps those small businesses pivot. And so, I think it's just a great time and opportunity for accounting professionals.
Michelle, real quick, you bring up a great example. And one of the things is we've added a Zoom widget. So someone can literally pop a Zoom widget onto their website so that trainer could have a private password protected page for their client to log in. They're running their Zoom session from their website. So now that client is on the website longer, which enhances the success of that website itself. And we're right now in the process of building a membership or course subscription website package. So it's not available yet, but in coming months, that personal trainer might be able to sell courses or online subscriptions. And we're really excited about that. So that's the value, is we're always growing and pivoting ourselves to give the market what they need.
Nice.
Am I back? Did I get did I get booted out?
No, you're back.
You're back.
Okay, good. Well, again, thank you for joining us today. I know, Jason, you had actually double booked, left your other webinar that you were the host of to come join us today. So I really appreciate you coming on today and telling us about this program. Of course, we got some upcoming webinars and just stay connected with qbpowerhour.com, which is of course built on Web Centers. And we'll see you next time on the QB Power Hour. Michelle, any closing thoughts?
Nope, just thank you all for joining us, and thank you, Jason, for being here and sharing this opportunity with us.
Well, thank you for having me, and happy to answer any other questions offline. I know you're going to have some information to the replay link and where you can get more information. Happy to support each and every one of you best I can.
All right, and we'll see you next time on the QB Power Hour.